Yo guys, what is up? It's Teach here, coming at you again with another video, and we are here over on a test map to show you my 5 mods that you need to try out for 2022. Now these are mods that are going to make it challenging, fun, and just change a little bit, not too much, just a little bit, to give you a little bit more fun and things that differ and change Ark around just a little bit. So, that being said, make sure you smack the like button, leave a comment below, and sub to the channel, and let's go ahead and get started. So my number one that you have to try out is one of my favorite mods. It is called Shiny Dinosaurs. Now this mod is going to give you the ability to actually have dinosaurs that have special traits. You can see over here we have access to some just generic Triceratops. However, with shiny dinos, what happens is once every 30 minutes to an hour, give or take, you're going to have a random shiny dinosaur on the map spawn in. Now you can see they're going to have a special ability like this one right here, and this one's a female storm triceratops. It's going to get a unique color scheme, and it's also going to get some little dots around it. Now this is an admin mode right now where you can actually turn things into the shiny dinos. You can see it changes their colors, it changes what they do, and it kind of just gives you something fun to mess around with for these dinos. Now each one of them is going to have those unique stats to them as well. You can see like this one, for example, pretty freaking cool. It's got that rainbowish color going on about it, and you can't really complain about that. So what is this really able to do? It kind of gives you something unique to try for in the game. You can see that that trike right there is like rotating colors, which is pretty awesome. And you can use a tracker in order to track these down wherever they might be on a map, and it'll give you the exact location, which is pretty awesome, obviously. Now you can also do special things like learn tech grams from these things, and it just makes the game a little bit more fun with that random happen chance of getting that special dino that shows up every 30 minutes to an hour. Pretty neat little base thing that you can use, and it just adds a lot of fun basic stuff to the game. Now the second thing that I want you to try out, and this is another really cool one as well, so you can see that all these dinos exist here. There's another mod that adds in a few more unique creatures, and that right there is, boom, Ark Additions. Now, if you haven't seen some of the Ark Additions dinos, they are absolutely awesome. They have special saddles, just so you can see, acro saddle. We're going to go ahead and get that on there. And then you can actually put these things on the, there we go. Okay, so you can see each one of these has their own unique saddle, and they're their own unique dinosaurs with special attacks, special modes. You can see this one's got like a side mode that he can use with a little bit of a push stat too. And you can also just change the modes around a little bit and just make their generic attacks. Now, obviously, they've got special abilities, which is pretty cool. Each one of these things is very special. This one happens to be the acro, adds in some unique functions to it because it's just, you know, a little bit different. It's very fast, obviously, as you can see here. And there's a whole bunch of fun little things that you can do with this. So, obviously, there's that guy right there. Those things are just going to come at me hot here, huh? If you were to tame one of those shiny dinos, it still maintains its shininess and special colors whenever you use it. And this got really, trike, can we not? Can we not? And say you did. Bye. Okay. So anyways, you can see it leaves a message on top of your screen as well. So there's a bunch of dinos that the Ark Additions actually adds in. You can see there's the conch and whatever it's called. You've got a Brachiosaurus, which is a massive dino that does a ton of damage to a bunch of things. You've got a Dinosuchus, which is a really neat model of a giant crocodile that's actually a little scary, unlike the regular crocodile in game. And then you've got a Cryolophosaurus, or whatever you want to call it. Now these things are pretty cool. They all have special abilities in some way, shape, or form. These ones can freeze things and do some neat stuff. These guys have a special barrel roll and stuff like that in the water. These guys right here are really crazy. They can actually dive under the world and create like almost a worm effect. They're pretty freaking cool. I'll go ahead and show you what they look like, just like this. And then you can go ahead and ride on them. And then as soon as you hit right click on mouse, you can see they get crazy fast, and they have the ability to go under the ground. And they kind of like little shark mode here. They're pretty awesome. This adds a bunch of unique stats to the game because there are special ways to tame each one of these things, and you got to figure that out. I'm not going to tell you how to do it, but they've all got really awesome abilities that you can actually have some really neat stuff to do with it. So this adds a ton of fun because it brings unique dinos that you haven't played with before to the game. That adds a little bit of zazz, you might say. Now, the next thing I want to show you is the Castles and Keeps mod. This is another really fun mod that's going to give you access to a whole bunch of different unique buildings, just like you see right in front of me here. And it kind of adds in a more Ark original feel to it, where you've got like these old school things. Like you can see this right here. This is my cooking station. You can build a couple of these, and they will allow you to basically have access to what you would normally have with like your Indie 4 and our Indie cooker. and just allow you to cook meats, all kinds of stuff. Some neat looking structure to it. You've got some different style of actual building as well, and they have a very pretty, you can see it right there, brick look to it. And it looks like a true kind of castle, and this is just like showing you the foundation of what the walls and stuff look like. They stack on top of each other, which is really cool, so you can build some really neat pyramids, or if you really wanted to, you could build some cool stair systems as well. I've seen some people do some really neat things with these, where you can kind of build some crazy stairs to them. But that being said, that's kind of what they look like in general. They've got some really awesome windows and walls like you see right here. Very, very, like you can build a beautiful castle using these things. And it's all done through a very simple in-game kind of system where you've got a structure that you can access. And it will give you the ability to build anything that you want, whether it's glass walls. Literally anything can be built, including drawbridges. There is some amazing stuff that this mod brings in, and it just adds a ton of generic fun. And it's one of those things that, especially if you're playing in solo or like PvE or single player, it adds a lot of fun things to your building repertoire. So it just makes it a little bit more fun and gives you a little bit more to do in the game of Ark, which is always a useful thing. Now the next thing is a very uncommonly used one, but in my opinion should be the most important thing in all of Ark, because this is something that kind of changes the game, changes it to make it so it's not like, oh man, why didn't, like, things that don't make sense. Have you ever thought about it this way? Why exactly do you knock a dino out and force feed it food and suddenly it's your friend? Well, this mod aims to help address that just a little bit. I'm going to show you what I mean by that. So basically what this thing gives you the ability to do is you can actually create a new way to tame each dino individually. Now there's different ways to do this. You can see I've got bait balloons, a bait cooler, bait stations, and each one of these has a special ability that it's going to give you. You can see trophy baits, access to different types of dinos, because each dino has their own specific way to actually go about taming them, and that is something that is really awesome about this mod. For example, if I was to click on this right here, you can see that I can click on this and click each individual dino to search how they want to be tamed, and it will show me exactly what I'm trying to figure out. So for example, the one in game right now, the Brachiosaurus, I can look at it, can be immersive tamed. In order to tame it, I need to use berry bait bags or veggie bait bags, botany bales, and then kibble baits. You can use those as well. And you can see there's a whole bunch of different stuff here that'll give you different ways to tame things. And it's not a knock it out. You have to actually keep the dinosaur standing nearby and slowly feed it in order to actually tame these things, which turns out to be a ton of fun, obviously, because you can actually change what you do for these things. There's a cooler where you can store all your stuff, an actual arrow system where you can launch these things nearby, and you've kind of like got to tame them by slowly progressing through, like some of the more recent tames in Ark where it's like basically you have to tame them slowly and you're not actually knocking them out. This is what it kind of brings to the rest of the dinos in Ark, where you can tame some of these more majestic creatures, and might I add, it tames them at a higher overall taming effectiveness than knocking them out. So yeah, pretty freaking cool to add a trophy bait station, and trophy bait in general. It just gives you the access to a little bit of a changed thing for Ark, which you cannot complain about. Now the last thing that I think you should consider adding is this right here. So this is the awesome Spyglass, and the awesome Spyglass is something that when you make it and use it, it's going to give you a full readout of what you need on any dinosaur. You can see that I've got it accessed right now. If I'm in first person mode, I can actually like zoom in and get a nice little appearance on these things. You can see my hands. It just like turns out to be this little thing, and it will lock onto these guys, and it just turns out very well, because it gives you a full readout of exactly how to tame these things. If you look on the left side of the screen, the exact stuff that you would need, their stats, their wild stats, what current health and torpor they have, as well as whether it's tameable, untameable, all that kind of stuff. So you can see it right there. It just makes it a lot more fun. It gives you the ability to be like, I don't want to just get a random thing and spend like 30 years taming two different things. You're going to be able to see tamed dinos, whether they're hungry, not hungry, shiny, not shiny, all kinds of basic stuff. So anyways, this is just a set of 5 mods that you should add right now in order to kind of change up your game and make Ark a little bit more fun to play, just for like little helpful hints. So anyways, hopefully this is something that you'll consider trying, and that's kind of where I'm at. Now, if you've noticed this little guy following me around, this is a mod that a content creator has made for me, and it's TeachersGameToo, and it's really cool. It's a little chibi mod. He's got a bunch of them made for us. But you can try all kinds of mods, and it really is something that kind of changes up what you have in Ark. So I really encourage you to kind of challenge what you've used before in Ark and kind of have a little bit of fun and reach out with some mods. So I'm going to make a few more mod tutorials and mod stuff like that. So hopefully this is something that you enjoy. And again, if you don't mind smashing that like button, leave a comment below and then subscribe to the channel. That would be awesome. Teach.